Alright, how's everyone doing tonight? I have some great subjects to talk about. Some things from a couple years ago most people aren't actually aware of, which I think is interesting about California law. I'm going to talk about some things about voter fraud relating to California, which I thought of because I found an article relating to it. And then we're just going to cover some of the news roundup, which there isn't very much, because all the senators are celebrating the new year. They're all getting wasted. Doing all the other drugs, because they don't have drug testing. They get all the lobbyist money, so they're having a party. So there isn't too much political drama to go over. So let's get right into these articles. Let me bring up that browser window. So this is actually from 2017. Most people don't know this, but child marriage is legal in California. The minimum age for marriage is 0. There's only 2 requirements. Parents' consent, which if the parents are forcing you into the marriage, of course they are. And judicial order, which that happens anyways. And in some areas, it seems like these judges, they don't actually practice any due diligence. They just approve it no matter what, depending on the area. So this is from the San Francisco Chronicle. It's one of the few articles that actually covers this subject and talks about it honestly. It's from July 6, 2017. And it's hard to find articles on this. Seems like Google's trying to hide this thing. It's one of those things that's kind of difficult to research about. So it was Senator Jerry Hill said he thought it couldn't be true. And when I tell people, they say, "Oh, that's false." I say, "No, it's literally the law right now." You can find plenty of cases, plenty of articles of age differences of 20 years of children being married to adults. This stuff happens in California every year. If we go down, in most states the age of marriage is 16, which isn't too unreasonable. The age of consent in a lot of states is also 16, so having those be the same, it just makes sense. But having the age be 0, that's a little extreme. Hill wanted to set the age to 18, but he ran into opposition from the ACLU and Planned Parenthood. What an interesting coalition fighting against this law. So the bill was SB 273. It actually did pass, but not in the way you think. The bill got changed before it was passed to remove the restriction on age, so it didn't really do anything. Yes, the law passed to raise the age of marriage in California, but the age of marriage was not raised. So still in California today, the minimum age of marriage, there's no minimum. So let me actually change this. So that's something most people aren't aware of. It's pretty crazy. It's just a sign of the state California is in right now. Next, California's new sex ed program has legalized lewd conduct. I'm sure you wouldn't be comfortable if this was happening at your school. State's 2015 sex education law. The worst report is several schools have sponsored condom races in which 10 and 11-year-old girls compete to see who can be the fastest at placing a prophylactic on an anatomically correct model of a penis. Plus, according to the leader of the Concerned Parents group, pupils as young as 11 are being taught to experiment with oral and anal sex with their partners. Pretty interesting class the state is teaching our children. There's also an article about in the UK where they're teaching 6-year-olds how to masturbate. Pretty. I can't even comment on that. It's just so crazy. It's so loony that this is happening. So that was pretty quick. I know it's such a serious subject and I kind of just glossed over it. But now I'm going to get into voter rolls, voter fraud, all that good stuff. So this was the article that made me pull up a couple more just to have a quick discussion on the subject. Conservatives seek immediate purge of voters in Wisconsin. A conservative law firm asked a judge to find a Wisconsin Elections Commission in contempt and fine its members $2,000 a day until it purges more than 200,000 voters. And for those of you who aren't aware, there's certain laws and guidelines that governments have to abide by in order to hold elections, and that includes purging voters who are no longer active. Either they moved away, they died, many other reasons. And all these systems between tracking who dies, who didn't, who moved, they're not very clean because people can leave and not say anything. So there's a system where you have to notify them, hey, we're going to purge you from the rolls, and if they don't respond or they don't live there anymore, then they're purged. This stops abuse. Let's say you're set to auto renew or your voter registration. You can automatically be sent ballots, and that can cause voter fraud because they're just mailing these things out. People fake the signature, they fill it out, mail it in, and you have someone voting more than once. So this firm is claiming that over 200,000 voters on these rolls are actually expired and they need to be purged, which is actually pretty big. What is the population of Wisconsin? What is it? So it's about 5.8 million. And let's see what percent of the population that is. Because all these elections come down to very narrow margins. So let's see. Did that backwards. So yeah, Google's saying this is 3.5% of the population. So the amount of people they want purged is 3.5% of the population of Wisconsin. And considering that only about 40% of people vote, it's going to be that the effect is going to be roughly tripled. You're going to see about maybe 6% of voters. So if you have voter rolls and 6% of those voters are ineligible to vote, and they do, that is a massive swing on elections. That would make you win every election in every county in the state. That is huge. So this lawsuit is not some, partisan whatever. There's rules that need to be followed with voter rolls. And when you don't follow them, you're going to have 6-7% of your election be fraudulent. Now, that may benefit one party. It's depending on the state. But either way, these voters need to be purged. LA County, and I believe the 2016 election, they had 150% eligible voter turnout. That means that whatever percentage of people who could have been eligible to vote, 150% voted. This was about 7%, but LA, it's so horrible that you had 50% more than who were eligible voting, which is super obvious. And in any other civilized country, they would immediately invalidate the election and say, oh, we have to do that again. But not in California. Here's another article. More than 23 Californians were registered to vote incorrectly by the DMV. One of the things they do is you're automatically registered to vote when you get a driver's license in California. So you have literally tens of thousands of people, if not more, are automatically being registered to vote. They get sent the ballot and they go, oh, I guess it's time to vote. They fill it out, mail it in, and they just committed state-assisted voter fraud in federal elections. Yeah, the motor voter system. Yeah, this is on accident, like how the city of Chicago, they have a state ID system where instead of having like they have a city ID system. So instead of having your state ID or a state driver license, they have a city ID system. And what they do is they have a checkbox on that. Same thing in California. You have a checkbox. Are you a citizen? Yes or no. You check yes or no because at that level they don't really need to verify it. And then they push that forwards towards federal voter registration, and they say, "Oh yeah, that's valid registration." So then you can have people who check, "Oh yeah, I'm a citizen." City ID doesn't verify it. Then they turn around and let you register without ever verifying that you're actually a citizen. And I believe one other major city's done it. I'm assuming it would be New York, but I'm not really sure. California begins removing 5 million inactive voters on its rolls. That's about 10% of the population. Again, since only about 40% of people vote, that's going to be what? 25% of the actual voting population in California. That's huge. That's like if you had 40% of people voting plus the people who would vote for you anyways, that's 60%. That's a massive, massive landslide. That would be a legendary landslide. That's really good, though. That's good. And this is kind of a boomer meme, but the point is kind of true. Crossing the border illegally into Canada, $5,000 fine. Crossing it illegally into Iran, 8 years in prison. The Middle Eastern countries are super strict. Crossing to North Korea, they shoot you. Crossing border into California, driver's license, free medical insurance, free cash aid, free food assistance, free housing assistance. It's all under welfare. Free legal representation, free education, free college, well, subsidized college, jobs, Crazy. It's just crazy the state California is in compared to other countries. And people say, oh, we should be more like Canada. Yeah, this up here, you can't see the mouse, but this at the top is more like Canada, where they arrest you. They don't just let anyone in. It's crazy how people say like Canada's so great. It's like, yeah, they do have some benefits, but they come with the cost of extreme pressure from law enforcement to follow the laws. They don't just let anyone do anything they want like in America. This one was this one was funny. These articles are kind of lying. These articles are definitely lying. Sorry, let me do this real quick. Uh-oh, I lost the window. Where is it? Here it is. Yeah, Marvel Cinematic Universe get first trans character. I found two articles on this. They're kind of spinning it. The New York Film Academy, the president of Marvel Studios, was asked whether there would be plans to bring more LGBT plus characters in the Marvel Universe. Specifically T. Yes, yes. And very soon, the movie we're shooting right now. So it kind of sounds like they're saying trans, but no. It'd be funny if they had a trans movie star and then they just had like a non-trans person play them. That would be hilarious. They have like a male to female trans and they have a woman play it. People would get so mad. Or vice versa. They have a female to male and they have a guy play it. Oh man. If you're gonna have like a trans actor play a trans character, that really narrows your who you can pick to play that, because acting already takes, it's a very specialized skill, and then you're narrowing that down to less than 1% of the population, and then you're cutting it in half also. That's just good luck finding an actor for that role. That's going to be difficult. And then RT, same thing. This is more accurate. Marvel will introduce trans hero very soon in an ongoing effort to go woke in new phase of films. Something tells me these aren't going to do as well. Kind of like Captain Marvel. Just pushing politics into movies never works out very well. So I actually looked into this a little bit. Valkyrie, she's already been in Infinity War. Who's the actress? Tessa Thompson. Character is bisexual. Yeah, you can't be too risky with this kind of stuff. If you're too risky, you're going to start driving people away. This is something where people aren't going to really care. The people who care for some reason are, they're going to explode with how progressive it is. And then of course they're, you know, this actually makes me think, because in the latest Star Wars movie, I didn't even know this, but apparently they have two women kissing in the background or something, and they're like, oh, it's so progressive. Oh, this is a big step forward. And then in like China and Iran and all these like anti-gay countries, they removed it in post. It really shows you they just want your money. But they're probably gonna do the same thing here. They're probably gonna have like a female love interest with her, and then they're gonna ride the razor like. So in America, it's gonna be her. She's gonna have guy friends and then girlfriends, and then there's gonna be some scenes where it's like romantic, and then in the other countries, she's gonna have guy friends and girlfriends and no real love interest. They're gonna structure the plot in a way to where they can hide it from those countries and still sell the movie. That'll be pretty funny, and that's kind of the problem with this kind of this pandering at this level is it just becomes more obvious because they want money, they don't care, and when they cut it out in countries where if they did this kind of stuff they would literally be banned from the countries, it just exposes them for their real motives, is using politics to pander to make more money. Apparently there's aliens in Florida. They're visiting us, they're watching us, they're everywhere. Let me see. Man, I'm just burning through these articles. Only 15 minutes. It's a dang UFO. And let's play this video. Everyone used to say, "Oh, why do they always get the low quality camera?" Now you have a nice cell phone camera and it can't zoom enough to see it. So you can see. Come on. It was already loaded. Why is it loading again? And even then, it's not loading. It was funny when that whole Trump-Russia thing came out, because everyone's saying, oh, RT's an instrument of the Russian state, which, I mean, yeah, it is to a degree. But they do give valid criticism of U.S. policy. Like, they give very good criticism of U.S. policy, especially relating to the Middle East. Okay. So yeah, this is it. There's not enough zoom. You just see a fireball. There's probably a rocket up there. That's a rocket. It's the world's slowest moving rocket. It's a dang UFO is what it is, he said. Yeah, it's the aliens. Oh, that looks enhanced. Let's enhance even more. Oh yeah, that's definitely a rocket-powered flying saucer. You can see the oval shape. You can see the flames. Those are anti-gravity flames, actually. Those aren't real flames. 200 plus members of Congress asked the Supreme Court to revisit Roe v. Wade. June Medical Services versus G, a Louisiana abortion case. They're set to hear soon. I mean, whether you're for abortion or against it, the fact remains, it's not a federal issue, it's a states' rights issue, and that's what the Republicans are going to do. That's what people are so mad about Brett Kavanaugh, is he is going to leave it up to states' rights. Now the Republicans can push it to be on states' rights. They're not going to force it to be a federal thing, which it's silly. 10th Amendment. It's right there in the Constitution. 10th Amendment. It's a states' rights issue. So I think this is the start. You're going to see it be reviewed. I believe Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she's going to die very soon. I guarantee it in the next 4 years of Trump presidency, she is going to die. And while I don't think that's a good thing, despite her supporting pedophilia and other horrible things, that means another conservative judge is going to put on. And I think you're going to see a lot of very pro-gun legislation in the Supreme Court over the next decade. We just had in, I don't even remember the court case in 2008, the right to own firearms was affirmed. The right to literally own firearms was being challenged. I guess the liberals aren't reading the Second Amendment, but that was actually reaffirmed, which is good. Now the right to own firearms outside the house is going to be reaffirmed. Many other things. And what was it? Yeah, DC versus Heller, that's what it was. But you're going to see in the next few years or / decade, you're going to see right to bear arms, you're going to see constitutional carry, you're going to see California's assault weapons laws struck down at the Supreme Court level, if not at the Ninth Circuit level. You're going to see any sort of high-capacity magazine bans, suppressors, short-barreled rifles, short-barreled shotguns going to be a big one, and also full automatic weapons. Because these laws they're really silly. Anyone who has a coat hanger on a normal rifle can make it automatic. Anyone who has a milling machine can make full auto weapons. All you need is a milling machine and calipers. Because the thing is, you can't ban guns. You have to ban the information on how to make guns, which you can't do. Anyone can go to Home Depot with $15 and make a pipe shotgun. It's not something that can be controlled. And it's funny that I got on the gun subject because there's this hilarious video of this lady being disgusted, absolutely disgusted, by illegal knives are easy to buy in the UK. Let's see if I can get this audio right.
Wow.
An out the front knife, a ballad song. Oh,
I feel properly disturbed by this. Jeez.
Sorry, 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I am back. Yes, one of these OTF knives, super deadly. Cause look, the blade goes out the front. Oh, that's so scary. Look how fast it is. Oh my goodness. Never mind that, can't actually do anything. See? It just went through the first. Let's see how many layers of sticky notes this went through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers of sticky notes. Yeah. Weapon of mass destruction right here. Because it opens without you needing to do anything. And then there's also assisted openers, which are legal, but they're functionally the same as automatic knives. Switchblades are considered automatic knives, at least in the U.S. Assisted openers are considered semi-automatic knives. I live in California, so assisted openers at any length are legal. Actually, let me get something real quick. If I can find it. Oh no, I can't find it. I found another knife, but where did I put it? It is the Timber Rattler. It is quite the unique knife. We'll look one more time back here. green screen is in the way. Oh yeah, found it. And this. Okay. So, I think you guys will like this. So, California's knife law is pretty, it's a little complicated, but it's pretty straightforward. Double-edged blades are legal. Automatic knives, like this out the front switchblade, are legal as long as they're under 2 inches. This is a 2-inch knife. It's good for opening boxes, convenient. The blade doesn't swing out, so, you know, pretty convenient. Assisted openers, folding knives, they can be carried concealed just like switchblades, as long as you can't stab someone while it's closed. Assisted opening, you know, pretty nice, pretty convenient. Fixed blades, like this. This is a scimitar, very rusted. I need to clean it. This is a fixed blade. It can stab people without needing to be opened. Look how rusty it is. The edge is all messed up too. I need to fix that. This can actually be worn publicly. It has to be fully open. You can't conceal this at all. If your jacket's over the handle, you can get a concealment charge. But legal to carry, even if it freaks people out. You can carry a big katana, buster sword. That's legal in California. I just wouldn't go by any courthouses. That's illegal. Private businesses don't have to let you in. But something that is legal to carry concealed in California is stuff that you can't, you know, stab people with it without opening it. This is the Timber Rattler. This is an 8-inch folding knife. I got it from Amazon just because it's hilarious. Look at this thing. It's massive. It's a sword. Look how big that is. It's as big as my head. Yeah, this is you know, it's a funny toy. Legal to conceal. But this is all state law. This isn't any sort of like municipality law, county law, that kind of stuff. So obviously it does vary depending on where you live. That's just state law. But this thing it's quite the funny toy. Now, if you were to ever, you know, use one of these in self-defense, DAs already don't like knives to begin with. But if you were to use one of these in self-defense, they would really try to throw the book at you for any mistake you made and to charge you. So, you know, those are fun toys, not good self-defense implements. So yeah, that's California. This is California right here. See this? Just to put that in perspective, this is California. Plus, you know, pistols, CCW. Some states you can open carry rifles, all that good stuff. And she's afraid of out the front, and balisongs are garbage knives. Like, if you need a functional knife, no one reaches for the balisong because it opens so quickly. It's like you have to flip it. I had one for a little bit. It's a fun toy, but you have to flip it around and do this thing and catch the handle. Like, it's stupid.
These can be bought and be available on our streets.
Oh!
Several kinds of knives are illegal to sell in the UK. Knives like butterfly knives, flip knives, even knives disguised as other objects.
Yeah, that's actually
Though
you can't have
they're
disguised
illegal to
knife in
sell,
California.
How hard are they to actually get hold of? I decided to try and find out and went to a well-known online retailer, and with a few clicks
She probably went to eBay or
I was able to
AliExpress.
get some from
Maybe,
China.
possibly, well, probably not Amazon, but AliExpress or eBay or
Transformer face
DHgate.
on it. This knife is very clever. This is disguised as a bracelet. For all you Transformer fans, it's got the face of a Transformer on it.
Yeah, that's probably, I guarantee that's unlicensed.
And the blade is inside there.
Oh, that's a deadly knife. 1-inch blade.
Put it on your wrist.
That could
Clip it.
do a lot of
flip it
damage.
open very quickly and use it to do some serious damage. It looks like it's at least 1.5 inches long.
Oh, 1.5 inches, sorry.
A lot of thought has gone into the engineering. The fact that with one hand you can release the blade and hold it and repeatedly knife.
You can hold it. You can hold it. Oh my goodness.
Gotta wrap 'em up well.
That is nuts. Ooh, balisong. The world's most scary toy.
This is a butterfly knife.
If you're like in a self-defense situation and you pull one of those out and try to flick it open, you're gonna cut your hand or drop it.
That is unbelievable. The damage this could do to somebody with just one stab. This makes me
Yeah,
really angry.
it's a knife.
It makes me really angry knowing that our kids can be out there buying this and we think they're safe.
I don't think your kids can get a debit card to buy one of those.
Thin package.
Thin package, yeah. It's something that fits in the hand.
Knife. So
Okay, those things are stupid. Those things are really, really stupid.
you little
It seems like a cool
Bends.
concept. Like you stick it in your wallet because it's a shape of credit card. You fold it into a knife. Those things are trash. They have extremely thin blades. They're not very sharp. They're kind of pointy. And then you have to fold it to make it useful. So it's just useless.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel a bit sick right
Yeah.
now because
I feel
just
sick.
taking out a knife that looks like a credit card that could be in someone's wallet.
So deadly.
On any night out.
You know what else could be in someone's wallet?
This looks like it could be your Common Garden.
Any one of these.
Stanley knife. Oh, it's oily. Wow.
Oh, that's so scary. Oh.
You can see it's really serrated and they're groups of.
Oh man, I wish I could own a full-size out-the-front knife.
Be available on our streets.
Oh my goodness. Did you see that? That just opened on its own.
I'm actually quite speechless.
It almost chopped her finger off.
I'm speechless.
Words fail me at the moment. Words fail me.
Words fail me at the moment.
Something tell me she's never been in a situation where her safety is at stake. And that's why she thinks these knives are so scary. Okay, we have to watch this. But yeah. You know, this whole knife crime thing in the UK, they're talking about no more pointy ends on knives so that people can't stab each other with them. And just for some perspective, New York and London have similar populations, but London actually has similar murder rates to New York, and sometimes even a little more. And they don't have guns. It's because all this murder and homicide, it's all gang violence. Like, people think, oh yeah, all this gun violence, all these people are dying. None of it on the big picture matters. It's all gang violence. 60% plus is all gang violence. Then you have some a lot of domestic violence, that kind of stuff, and then just the tiny small speck is tragedies like mass shootings, that kind of stuff. But in the grand scale of things, the reporting is flipped. You know, the less than a fraction of 1% that's mass shootings gets 99% of the coverage, and then the gang stuff, like there's 5 people dead in Chicago, 10 people dead in Chicago, that never gets reported on ever. And I guess the faulty reasoning is just that the guns cause this, and Britain's going the same route. Knives are causing their issues, so they're saying, oh well, we need to have non-pointy knives. We need the age to buy acid to be over 18 when adults are the ones doing the acid attacks, not children. And it's so silly because they're trying to ban metal. You know, the thing that was invented thousands and thousands of years ago, metal. You know? Even then, like, metal isn't even needed. You can go to any hardware store, you can pick up a piece of metal in a file for $5 and you can make yourself a pointy thing that is not good to get poked by. You can go to the hardware store, buy a screwdriver. A screwdriver is just as bad as lots of knives. What are you gonna ban axes too? Like, in Britain, you can literally, if you're carrying like a Bowie knife or something, and you're camping, you can literally be arrested for that. It's insane, their laws. And I've spoken to anti-gun friends before, and I say, like, you know, the reason why gun control won't work in America is the same reason knife control won't work in the UK. It's because it's impossible to ban the idea of something. And you ban it, well, criminals are going to continue to use it and get their hands on it because they can just make the thing. And all you're doing is harming people who follow the law to begin with. And obviously the response is, well, does that mean we should make it so people can own tanks and all this stuff? And it's like, well, gangbangers aren't rolling down the street in tanks. They are walking down the street with a Makarov from the early 1900s from Soviet Russia that was passed down from their grandpa, someone's grandpa who immigrated from Russia or whatever, rocking, you know, 8-round magazine of 9mm, not even parabellum. I think it's called 9mm Makarov, and they're fighting with that, or they're fighting with 38 Special from the 1920s or whatever. That's what they're having their wars with. They're not fighting with tanks and jets and, AKs. Gang members aren't the ones shooting up movie theaters. Those are crazy people who almost always are on some sort of mind-altering substance prescribed by their doctor. So I tell them, like, do you think banning pointy knives when I can make a knife out of anything, even, like, literally paper? Has anyone seen that YouTube channel where the Japanese guy makes knives out of everything? Jello, fungus, paper, obviously, dirt. I'm trying to think what else. He's made, like, everything into a knife. Any sort of substance, any sort of food stuff, he's made it into a knife that can cut stuff. And obviously they're not all going to be very durable, but you only need to poke someone once for it to do damage. So I tell my friend, like, like, you can make a knife out of anything. They do that in prison. What makes you think this control is going to work? And he didn't really have an answer for that. So it's not like it's a very rational argument to begin with. It's not like banning a flippy piece of metal is going to solve anything. Look, guys, look how scary this is. Oh, you see how quick that opened? Oh my goodness. And it's pointy. You could seriously hurt yourself with this if you were in front of someone. Oh man, when I'm famous, that's gonna get clipped. Yeah, it's so insane. All this bad stuff comes from bad people, and there's no way you can fix that by punishing good people. Let's watch this vegan steak bake. Can public taste the difference? I will bet $1,000 if you cook me a vegan steak and then you give me a blue rare steak of beef, I can tell you the difference. Every single time. There's no vegan steak that's ever going to trick me. Especially if it's against a blue rare beef steak.
That's me too.
You're wrong in that they are all vegan.
Oh my god.
She got tricked.
So we tricked you.
That's really good.
Okay, I can say one thing. There's one thing. I'm vegans are horrible. Bad nutrition, annoying, preachy, moral superiority, all that fun stuff. There's one thing that tastes extremely similarly to beef. It's grilled portobello mushroom. If you've not had a grilled portobello mushroom, I highly recommend you try it. Once you get a good sear on the outside and you eat it, it has a very similar texture to meat. It tastes like meat, like beef. It is honestly really good. I wonder if they're going to actually use that as a base.
When they launched their vegan sausage roll, which pissed off Piers Morgan.
Ew.
The vegetarian sausage is nicely flavoured.
Today, they've launched a
It's not going to taste that bad.
and I'm going to be trying
It's just going to taste like spices.
And give it a go.
Like if you're going to take low quality meat and spice it so it tastes good and then fake it
To see it.
by just adding spices to random
Vegan steak
plant
bakes. Let's give them a try. Yeah?
bullshit, like of course it's going to taste like low quality meat.
Man, that was good. I don't think you'd be able to tell the difference. What I've actually done is bought a load of vegan steak bakes, but we're going to tell the public that there is a mixture of both vegan steak bakes.
Oh, the old switcheroo.
and actual beef steak bakes. And
How
see
clever.
how many of them can actually tell the difference. To see what the public have got.
Yeah,
What do you think?
it's really nice.
You like it?
Thoughts?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I'm guessing it's the steak bake because it tastes the same, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's very, very similar. Yeah, it definitely tastes like the vegetables and stuff, but it's pretty tasty.
Yeah. And yourself?
Definitely vegan. I think it's the texture that's different compared to normal meat.
It's
Do you think
probably
do you
pasty.
think it's the vegan steak bake or the original one based on that little test there?
I couldn't tell you.
You sure? You couldn't tell the difference?
I think this one's vegan.
Yeah?
Well, yes, but
What makes you think that initially?
the pastry is quite. Oh, it's really crumbly. It's really interesting. Actually, no, maybe it's not.
I mean, all you're doing is you're taking low quality. All these low quality meat products are spiced, so they taste good, and then you're replacing the meat with plant whatever, probably dehydrated soy flavor. Roe v. Wade, yeah, good. And you know, that's everything. How long did this show run? Ran for probably what, half hour? Oh yeah, almost 40 minutes. All right, well, thank you for everyone who watched. Felt like I talked a little faster in this one. Covered some stuff. Overall, it's pretty good. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe, share with friends and family, and have a good January.